All right, we start. Haribol, Hare Krishna. Welcome in Hamburg. Yeah. Actually, the town is called Hamburg, but because of our regular Harinams, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra in public, it was renamed to Harinamburg. And the reason, of course, is that Srila Prabhupada visited this town in 1969. Srila Prabhupada war also hier im Jahre 1969, bevor nach London ging. Ja, so wir können jetzt hier reingehen in diesen Park. Und ja. Ja, alle, sprecht ihr alle Englisch?
Yes.
Könnt ihr alle verstehen? Okay, so I already told Mother Mandakini the joke about Harinamburg, but matter of fact is that Hamburg is the town where Srila Prabhupada first set his foot on the European continent, even before he came to London. Yeah. That was in 25th of August 1969. He arrived with Lufthansa flight at Hamburg airport, and he was driven down to the small temple Eppendorfer Weg L11, where we are walking after this. So Prabhupada used to take these morning walks. Every morning he took a walk, and so did the same thing in Hamburg. At that time, his morning walks were not accompanied by many devotees yet. He would go out with one or two devotees. So in this case, it was Shivananda Prabhu was here, one Uttama Sloka was here, and also Suchandra Das, who later became Bhakti Bhushana Swami, and Oliver Hertel, who later became Vasudev Das. So Prabhupada took his walks every morning. There are several parks around here. This is just one of the parks. More parks on the right-hand side. He also went to one church, Christ Church, Christuskirche. So in this park especially, there is one pastime, which I'm going to tell you. Please follow me. Hare.
Das ist schon krass.
Well, you can see in this park there are several benches, and there is a dispute on which bench Srila Prabhupada sat down. And we are going to the bench now where he most probably did. Yeah, there are several benches. You can see there are even benches on the other side. I'm going to tell you the reason why I think it's this one particular bench.
Die Kamera kann auch filmen, ich habe immer gefilmt, ne? Der war voll.
So, Hare Krishna. Please stand in front of this bench.
This one.
Yeah, please come here, yes. There is a dispute on which bench, actually the bench pastime in Harinamburg happened. Some say it is on the bench on this side. However, my argument is that it was here, one reason being that the devotees came from the temple, which is further down there, and entered this way, then walked around this pond, and so at the end of their walk, they sat down on this bench. That is one reason. Another mystical indication is, in 1996, Srila Prabhupada's 100th life anniversary, we did this parikram for the first time. On this bench, somebody had sprayed Jagannath. It was not a devotee, and he didn't spell like Jagannath, but Jagannath. Jagannath is a British expression, means something huge, something movable, which is moving and very gigantic, huge, and incalculable. So the British had, of course, taken this expression from Jagannath, seeing the Jagannath chariot. He said, this is huge. So somebody had sprayed Jagannath on this bench. And since Srila Prabhupada was the one who brought the Jagannath Ratha Yatra to the West, and it was sprayed on this bench, my conviction is that Srila Prabhupada sat down on this bench. Now all these benches have, of course, been renewed. It's not the same bench, but this is the bench where the Jagannath letters were sprayed on.
Wonderful.
So now we are walking, so Prabhupada came this way and walked back this way. Now we are going the opposite way, so we walk on Srila Prabhupada's footsteps.
Zumindest grob schon.
Yeah.
Also hier sind die auch zu kriegen. Auf jeden Fall.
You see, still people are walking, and they're all walking in Prabhupada's footsteps.
Und wie viel Uhr würdet ihr das denn machen?
Also wir können ja auch ein bisschen, wann du Zeit hast oder so, wir können auch ein bisschen Rücksicht nehmen, ein bisschen absprechen. Also ich arbeite hier irgendwie und bin da ein bisschen flexibel. Ja, also wie das am besten für uns passt. Also, vielleicht einen Tag, wir haben ja Dienstag, aber da haben wir Dienstag
So eine Telegram-Geschichte oder was?
ja, das ist eigentlich
Da bin ich überhaupt nicht.
Achso, ja. Ja, aber stimmt, das hast du ja vorhin gesagt. Ja, ich bin raus.
So while walking, Srila Prabhupada would discuss with the devotees
Oder auch überhaupt. Obwohl es gab ja Zeiten, ne, wenn die Leute nicht mehr Verletzung hatten, die haben auch überlebt.
Haben alle überlebt, das sage ich ja auch immer. Mensch, vor 20 Jahren war das alles noch ganz anders. Man erzählt mir doch nicht, ihr braucht ein Handy.
You're a wonderful spiritual guide.
see the little duck there, you see?
Da mussten sie ja so laut brüllen, dass man es schnell Ruhe hätte machen können.
Some say that it was that bench.
Really?
Yeah. Some say it was this bench.
This one with where the man is sitting?
Yes. Some say. You don't know exactly. Shivananda was there. You know, he came a few times. Came twice. We did this parikram. And well, anyway, actually, the bench pastimes happened twice. We go to the other bench where I tell you how it continues. The bench pastimes.
It's really beautiful. It could be something so special. Yeah. So beautiful.
Yeah, the park is beautiful. wherever Prabhupada went, devotees would find out the best places to do morning walks.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a nice place, no doubt. But there are other parks around also.
So many beautiful weeping trees.
Yes, they have very deep roots. I mean, this park hasn't changed since, even before 1960. It's a very old park. And Hamburg is full of parks. You know, it's a very green city. We take all the devotees who come here, you know, the Prabhupada, we take on this parikrama.
Yes.
Because it's really, I mean, it's phenomenal. Hamburg is the first city that Prabhupada visited in Europe.
Didn't know.
Before London, because his purpose was to come to London to see the devotees there, but they hadn't set up a temple yet. The very place temple wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
But they had this very small temple which was already ready. So Prabhupada went here first. He spent here 2 weeks here, celebrated Janmashtami and Vyasa Puja here in August 69, yes. And he worked
Weiter,
on
die
the
anderen
nectar
hören
of
überhaupt
devotion.
nicht zu. Vielleicht sprichst du auch mal zu den allen anderen da, weil
Ja, dann
die
müsst
kriegen
ihr-
überhaupt nichts mit.
Müsst ihr näher kommen. Aber ich mache hier eine kleine
Hallo,
weitere
wollt ihr
Ansprache
vielleicht
hier.
zuhören, was Weitern hat erzählt?
Ich mache hier eine weiter, ich kann das hier lauter machen. So, lauter, 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 ja gut, sehr laut. Ja, also Prabhupada hat, während er hier war, am Nektar der Hingabe gearbeitet.
Is it the same?
He worked on the nectar of devotion.
I'm not the same.
Yeah,
It's about nectar devotion.
and he celebrated, what?
Manekini mother wants to know what about nectar devotion. You told afterwards.
Nectar der Hingabe, nectar of devotion. He worked on the nectar of devotion
Here in Hamburg.
in Hamburg, yeah. He got the tape recorder from Suchandra's father, from Bhakti Bhushan's father.
Yes.
Bhakti Bhushan's Suchandra at that time, he brought Prabhupada a tape recorder from his father. And at the same time he asked to be initiated by Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, yes, you can become initiated just because of the tape recorder.
Oh.
That was his first service he did to Srila Prabhupada.
Schade.
Weil er den Tape-Recorder gegeben hat, oder?
Yeah, it was that easy to get initiated. Harinam initiation, your first initiation at that time. So, yeah. So Prabhupada most probably came this way and came out on the other side. Now we come to the other bench. The bench pastime involves 2 benches.
Yes. You mean
Because
six.
on the first bench, you know, the first bench that we saw there on that side, Srila Prabhupada walked with Shivananda only. And Shivananda was a little exhausted from the walk.
Oh.
So Prabhupada had a fast pace. And so Prabhupada sat down and Shivananda kind of slouched in the bench. You know, he sat down relaxing and I'm going to demonstrate it
Okay.
because Shivananda demonstrated
Okay.
when we were here with Shivananda. So I'm going to now show, it may have been this bench, who knows. Anyway, so I'm going to impersonate Shivananda Prabhu. maybe somebody impersonates Srila Prabhupada. Who is going to be Mandakini you impersonate? I'm going to tell you, it's a little sketch we're doing. The Shivananda, after walking with Prabhupada, he was exhausted, and he slouched down on the no, Shivananda did. Probably not really like this, but something like this. And then Prabhupada sat down by his side and sat very straight.
Like that.
Yeah, and he very straight. He looked at Shivananda, and Shivananda also sat down like that. So the next day, after Srila Prabhupada had returned to the temple, and told this pasam, the next day, more devotees came on the parikram. And Srila Prabhupada sat down on a different bench, like this, and everybody sat like this. Everybody sat like this. All the devotees sat like this. And Prabhupada looked at them. Yes, very nice, very nice.
Yes, very nice.
Actually, I have a personal meeting with Srila. I received one instruction from Srila Prabhupada in Amsterdam, at the Amsterdam Temple. Srila Prabhupada was sitting on the Vyasasana, supervising the installation of the Jagannath deities in Amsterdam. And I was sitting in the temple. I had been with the devotees for 3 days, so I was leaning against the temple wall, like this, and watching what was going on. So I thought this is, in the book also, this installation ceremony didn't go very well. The installation ceremony did not go very well. And I observed Srila Prabhupada sitting on his Vyasasana. He was not satisfied with the way the installation was going on, because the mantras were not chanted properly, and the altar structure even threatened to collapse. And Prabhupada says, no, it's like this, the mantras go like this, and now hold the temple, the altar is falling apart. And so he was chastising the devotees, correcting the devotees, and I was watching. He did not seem to be very pleased. Prabhupada was not amused by the way things were going on. And I'd been with the devotees for only 3 days. I had read about Indian sadhus and sages in books, and the most important thing I picked up from those books was that these sadhus are always happy. They always smile. Nothing can disturb their mind. They're always mellow and smiling and satisfied. So now I was leaning against the temple wall, seeing Prabhupada had an angry face. So I had met Srila Prabhupada before in Paris, and my impression of him was so amazing. Like Mandakini was also explaining, when she first saw Prabhupada in London, I saw in Paris, he seemed seemed to glow, He was not walking, he was floating over the ground. He was not climbing on the Vyasasana, he was kind of flying on the Vyasasana, just otherworldly, so transcendental. And I had a very strong impression of Srila Prabhupada that he was a true saint. Also, we had a darshan once. I was in the darshan. He looked at me, with his big eyes, with this deep impression in his face, and I thought, this is a real mystical yogi. Now I was leaning in Amsterdam, I was leaning against the temple wall, and I saw Srila Prabhupada looked at me. He was getting angry. He was not happy, he was not amused, he did not smile. He had an angry impression on his face, and I started doubting, sage should always be happy. Maybe he isn't a true saint. I started doubting. So while I was sitting there, Prabhupada was sitting on the Vyasasana, It was about maybe 30 meters away. Prabhupada turned his way, faced me, and he said, "It is an offense to sit before the deities like this."
Oh.
And he pulled up his legs on the other side. "It's an offense to sit before the deities like this. Sit properly."
Oh.
Prabhupada said, "Sit properly."
Oh my God.
So then I sat up properly. So this instruction to sit properly is one of the basic instructions that Srila Prabhupada gave. So he was very pleased when the devotees sat up like this. He was very happy. And later, of course, since this was the only thing that Srila Prabhupada ever said to me directly, for me it became a very important thing. For me it started meaning I should be properly situated in my life also and other things. Yes. Yeah. Form of respect before, especially in front of the spiritual master, to properly sit and the deities. And I see sometimes devotees in our programs, they lean against temple walls. So whenever they do that, I think of that conversation I had with Srila Prabhupada. It seems that for a Vaishnava, this back support doesn't mean anything. They never use it. They always sit up. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
So,
You are telling was one of the pastimes. Prabhupada being displeased in Amsterdam Temple.
yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, that's the first time also I followed any of his instructions,
Yes.
that I sat properly. I mean, I could have thought, well, first of all, he's not displaying the symptoms of a sadhu. Then he also chastises me, I leave, goodbye, see you later.
Yes.
No, but I did follow his instruction, I did not leave and I stayed with. Then I thought, well, he can read my mind.
Oh, yes.
So he must be a yogi.
Yes, yes.
Because Prabhupada just felt that I'd been doubting and he turned to me like this. So it probably happened twice. Two benches, could be both benches or one of them, but I mean, it definitely happened in this park. Yes.
Aber es lebt keiner mehr, der das bestätigen könnte?
Yes, Shivananda was here, who walked with Prabhupada. He was here twice actually. Yeah, he still lives in North Carolina, yes.
So one should ask him for exact
Which,
information.
yeah,
Before it's too late,
he
yeah?
sat on this bench, but the Juggernaut thing, that was on the other bench.
Also hier hat er es vorgemacht.
Yeah,
Ja, dann wird es die wohl gewesen sein, ne?
I'm not sure. No conclusion yet.
Kann ja auch sein, dass sie mehrere Runden gemacht haben. Also in dem Buch, was ich heute Nacht gelesen habe, da sagt er ja, sie haben Pause gemacht, weil er so müde war.
Ja,
Jivananda war so müde und jetzt machen wir mal eine Pause, weil du so müde bist. Und dann hat er sich gefläzt.
ja, ja.
Und wenn er das hier vorgemacht hat, wird es ja so, dass sie vielleicht mehrere Runden einfach
Yeah,
gedreht haben.
because they came from this side and entered the park from here. So it is possible that they already sat down there and later went around the pond. Or maybe at least they came twice. They came,
We don't know.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So you live close here, Thierry and
Deswegen
Arad.
sitzen die beiden da ja auch schon,
They
ne?
can do their japa here and do the pastime every morning.
Das ist schon verabredet.
But I want more closer. I live here, Kaiser Friedrich Ufer.
Near where we live, wants to have a ritual like the temple and also like our
Yeah.
and if any devotees want to join, they're welcome and just chant here in the park. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Machen wir jetzt einen Harinam?
Now, next thing is we walk to the temple. which may be a 10-15 minutes walk. We could do Harinam on the way.
Jetzt gibt's mal die Kamera. Meinst du? Machen wir jetzt einen Harinam oder nicht? Machen wir jetzt Harinam? Hare Krishna.
Ja, wir können das, wenn jemand anders...
Machen wir jetzt einen Harinam oder?
Können wir, ja. Aber lass uns doch erstmal einfach nur gehen.
Okay. Dann kann ich auch wieder ausmachen.
House, there the devotees got an apartment for Srila Prabhupada on the 15th floor. The 15th floor. You can count which one. Let's go there. This building, ich glaube, wir können hier stehen. This building is called das Hamburg Haus. Und hier haben die Devotees für Srila Prabhupada eine Wohnung gefunden, im 15. Stock. Wir können das mal nachsehen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, das ist da oben. The 15th floor is up there. There, that's it. And we even went there once. There is an elevator, and this is where Srila Prabhupada stayed. And this is where he dictated the nectar of devotion with the tape recorder that Suchandra, later Bhakti Bhushan Swami, had donated him. And this is also where he talked to one Sanskrit professor in Hamburg, Professor Bernhard, about Indian philosophy.
Yeah.
And this professor asked him what is the difference between Advaita Vedanta, or the impersonal school, and the Dvaita Vedanta, or the personal school. So there was some discussion. Prabhupada taught him. And Prabhupada got the impression that Indology in Europe was very much dominated by the Advaita aspect, or by the monistic view. They were all impersonalists, in other words.
That's right.
Yeah. So also there was one Samanta that Srila Prabhupada met, whom we met later. He later became a very important member of the German-Indian Association, and he also has fond memories of Srila Prabhupada. He said, yeah, I met your spiritual master in 1969.
Is he still living?
He last time I met him was over 90 years. Oh, and that was in the 1990s.
So he must be gone.
Must be gone, yeah. But everybody who met Srila Prabhupada was so impressed with his personality. Like we were saying yesterday, what impressed me most with Srila Prabhupada was his warmth of character, his mercy. You were expanding Srila Prabhupada's merciful attitude, and his deep knowledge. I mean, he could talk with any Sanskrit professor or philosopher and convince him that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings were supermost, the best teaching. Yeah. So they were, like this. So I met your. Later, the movement, of course, expanded. So the beginnings were very humble, and Srila Prabhupada he stayed here on the 15th floor. But he would walk to the temple here, this way. And we are going to cross the road. Be careful, only don't walk under the red light. And then we walk this way into Eppendorfer Weg. Okay. took him there, saw this church also. Had some conversation about Christianity, and he was saying that, yeah, Jesus Christ we accept as a Vaishnava also. Yeah. And this is Eppendorfer Weg. Remind this name, Eppendorfer Weg 11. This is the street where we have Hare Krishna temple on the European continent.
Wow.
Is in this street. Yeah. Yeah.
This is here.
No, Haribol. So this is the first Radha Krishna temple in Hamburg.
Wow. Was it the whole building?
No. Only this one lower floor here. Today you can't peep into there. There were places where they had a different window you could look inside, but it's really small. It's like the format of 26 2nd Avenue in New York. So it is really small, but it's the first Krishna temple on the European continent. And Srila Prabhupada came here to deliver his first classes on Bhakti Yoga.
Was it here?
This very small place, yes, only this. It was an apartment for some time. Now you can see it's a psychotherapy practice. So it was really humble, but there were a few programs, and Srila Prabhupada celebrated Janmashtami and Vyasa Puja. And there were a few pastimes Srila Prabhupada had in Hamburg also when he walked around here. One day there was a Sperrmülltag, the day when people, they used to have that in the 60s, when people put out their own old furniture and carpets and so on that they didn't need anymore. So Prabhupada told me, these are good things. He had not been traveling so much in the West yet. He had been to the USA and not been to Europe yet. And so he said, well, get one of these cupboards, and get one of this, and get this carpet, and get. So the devotee said, yeah, but we already have all these things. So Prabhupada thought, all this wealth is just on the road for free. We should get
It's
it.
really interesting. Prabhupada said to pick from the streets
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
Very
Like
nice.
that is recommended in the Bhagavatam. You can
Yes.
get your clothes from the torn clothes you find in the street. So at least they got, I think, 2 carpets, and 1 carpet they got, and the devotees had it cleaned and they put it on the floor. It looked quite good. So also Prabhupada was at Landungsbrücken. They took Srila Prabhupada to Landungsbrücken, and there is one incident where Srila Prabhupada saw a big ocean liner being pulled into the harbor by a small tugboat.
Oh,
You see that in the harbor, these big ocean liners and then these small ships that have strong engines. And Srila Prabhupada explains this is just like the material energy. when we stop performing devotional service, when we turn off our engines in serving God, then automatically Maya will come and pull us.
Wow.
Although the ocean liner is so much bigger than the small tugboat, so the spirit soul is so much stronger actually than the material energy because it's of a higher, superior nature. Still, when the spirit soul stops serving Krishna, then the actually lower inferior energy, which has no power, is able to take the spirit soul away and pull it into the darkest regions of ignorance.
Wow.
That was an example. Also, I read somewhere that Prabhupada saw a yogi when he was in the harbor. He turned to the devotees and said, "See this light ray? There's a yogi traveling on the sun ray."
Really?
Yes.
Wow. In Hamburg?
In Hamburg, yeah.
Ah.
Could as well be that, while we are here, we are on Prabhupada's walking in Prabhupada's footsteps and remembering Prabhupada. Some yogi is traveling on a sun ray, but can you see anybody, Mandakini?
No.
That's why, because you do not have the same vision as Srila
No,
Prabhupada.
definitely not.
Yeah.
Was mit dem Teppich gibt's hier noch?
No, this rock later became too old, and they didn't even take it to Waterstraße, where we are walking next. So, Prabhupada gave some important lectures here also. During the initiation ceremony, he gave a class on initiation. He said, "Well, now I'm initiating you into our Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, so that you can become spiritual masters later." That was his vision. So Srila Prabhupada did plan that even his Western disciples become full members of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya and even take up the service of spiritual master in the disciplic succession, even at this early date.
So which year again?
That was in 1969.
69.
So Srila Prabhupada stayed from August 25 in 1969 until, very easy to remember, September 11, 1969. So that's about 2 weeks, a little more than 2 weeks. And September 11, very easy to remember. When Prabhupada came to London, first day he met the Beatles. And he sang to the Beatles. Prabhupada sang to the Beatles. The devotees there, Shyama Sundar and Malati and the others, Guru Das, they had Mukunda Goswami later, Kunda, they had made contact with the Beatles. The Beatles did want to see Srila Prabhupada. Why? Because they had heard a record sung by Srila Prabhupada that Shyama Sundar had sent to published. That was published in San Francisco, USA. They had heard one such record, the Hare Krishna mantra with Prabhupada singing. And they were so impressed with Srila Prabhupada's music, with Srila Prabhupada singing. They could feel that there was transcendental sound vibration.
Was this the first encounter between the Beatles and Srila Prabhupada, where later George Harrison became a devotee of the Krishna movement?
Yes, that was first in 1969, right? First encounter. Before they had heard Prabhupada's records, and Shyama Sundar Malati, the other devotees, had told them about Srila Prabhupada. They had played tapes of Srila Prabhupada, and that's the first time they actually saw him. And later that year, you also watched the installation of Radha London Ishvara in London, right?
I came that day, but
Yes.
I didn't watch the installation.
So that was in December, I think.
14th December.
14th
69.
December. So Prabhupada came to London 11th September, then 14th December, September, October, November. 4 months later, the Radha London Ishvara were installed. At that time they had the Bury Place temple ready, which of course was bigger than this one.
It was not bigger wide, but it was 4 stores.
Four floors, yes. When Prabhupada came here, he actually brought Radha Krishna deities. His plan was to install Radha Krishna deities in Hamburg, but when he saw this place and he learned from Shivananda, didn't know anything about deity worship, that, well, we can't do it. So he took those same deities, he took to London, but in November of 1969, I wrote down the date, that was 23rd of November 1969 on Rasa Lila Day. These small Radha Krishna deities were installed in the place we are going next.
Oh.
And they were not the same deities that Srila Prabhupada had brought to Hamburg in August 69, but those were deities that Yamuna Devi Dasi was trained by Srila Prabhupada in painting them. Prabhupada trained Yamuna Devi Dasi in painting these deities. And they were gifted by an Indian gentleman in London. They are small size Radha Krishna deities. So in November 1969, Srila Prabhupada sent Tamal Krishna Goswami to install those deities in the place we are going next. So they were properly installed deities on the order of Srila Prabhupada, and they were installed even before Radha London Ishvara. In November, the Radha London Ishvara,
December.
where it says December, yes. Yes.
Wow.
So these are very humble beginnings. And on his visit, when Prabhupada saw this little place, Prabhupada told the devotees, you should have a temple in Hamburg bigger than the one in Los Angeles. But he also told the devotees, please try to get a bigger place. This is not the real thing. Yes. But already in November they had a bigger place, which we're looking at now. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes. So any questions, suggestion, Mother Mandikini? Is it your first time in Hamburg, or?
No, but first time here.
You were in Hamburg before?
Oh, when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
Learning German.
Yeah, there was one you may know, Rimati Dasi.
The name is familiar.
Rimati. She used to take care of the elephants in Mayapur.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the elephant lady.
Yeah.
She's from Hamburg.
Yeah.
And her father, he was a medical doctor. He had his practice there in this street, there. And Rimati asked him, because at that time we were all very young. I was 17 at that time. I wasn't interested in anything Krishna consciousness yet. But Rimati asked her father, yes, he said, he saw this Indian gentleman walking along here. Yes, Rimati's father.
Wow.
And also there was a fruit store there, and the fruit vendor got very nice fruits from the fruit market. So always, Srila Prabhupada always got served very nice fresh fruits, best fruits available in Hamburg for his breakfast. Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah, so I mean, first place that was visited by Srila Prabhupada on the European continent. It was also the first Hindu temple on the European, in Germany. I'm not informed other countries, but I don't think in other countries they had it either. But I researched it. Before this, in 1969, there was no other Hindu temple, even by Indians in Germany.
Wow.
Yes.
Really special.
Yes. And it was authorized because Srila Prabhupada himself was here. Yeah.
So So he said to the devotees, it's not appropriate, this small temple.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a bigger
First,
one.
yeah, right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, any questions?
I found it interesting that the greatest band, musical band ever was impressed by the singing of Srila Prabhupada. Wasn't it? It's like,
Yeah, it was kind of a fortunate coincidence because the Beatles, they had been playing, this rock, beat music, the early songs of it. But somehow or other, the Indian philosophy was becoming attractive in the West. The Beatles went to India to meet Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and they learned the sitar from Ravi Shankar. Yeah, it was George Harrison, yes. So this whole Indian thing was very popular in the West. Indian sitar concerts were very well visited whenever an Indian sitar player. Nowadays, sitar players maybe get 20 people in the audience. It's you're not interested in Indian robes, cannabis indica. Yeah.
When the Beatles visited Maharishi in Rishikesh
Yes.
in '68, they already sang the Maha Mantra.
Ah, yeah.
So that may be another reason why they were interested in the real singing of the Maha Mantra.
Yeah.
I presume they got it from the Hair musical,
Yes. Yeah. Musical.
but they already sang it. There's a recording when John Lennon sings Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
And My Sweet Lord, that is 1968.
No, 71.
71. Okay. Okay.
After meeting
After
Srila.
meeting. Yeah.
Yeah,
George
and
produced the single and the recording, in
Yes.
'69.
Uh-huh.
Krishna
The Hare
Temple
Krishna.
recording was produced by him.
Yes.
He plays the bass guitar on Govinda Adi Purisham
Yes.
and produced it and wrote it.
Uh-huh.
And he plays the bass guitar on that. And on the Maha Mantra he plays the bass guitar.
this record of the Goddess of Fortune, it was in early 70.
The LP, you mean?
Yeah, the big.
The big one. Yeah, I don't know that, but in '69 was the
because,
single.
We, Temple, we were part of the chorus.
Ah,
Yeah.
you was
Yeah, we went to the studio and
Yeah, Vandakini Matadi is from 1969, right?
That's the reason why I'm here.
because of George.
Yes.
Yeah, he's such a wonderful person. We can talk about stories with George Harrison
Please.
Yeah.
this afternoon.
Yes, very good. So we could continue walking to Bartelstraße also? Yes.
Of course, if you can talk about George Harrison, it's definitely
Kindergärten, aber immerhin gibt es in Hamburg ja so viele Parks.
Und Delfin ist ja auch Holzdelfin.
Ruft ihn John, dass er mit dem Auto kommt. Careful, we have to cross the street. Here is the place. No, okay. Now, see. You are walking on holy ground.
Oh,
I walked the street so many times.
You know, all the German spiritual masters, they joined here. As you can see, the S-Bahn is passing by here. So when I went to work, I worked in Hamburg, Bahrenfeld. I drove by this place every morning.
really?
On the S-Bahn, yes.
Oh,
And I'm going to tell you. You know, there was an entrance, this entrance, and then there was an old warehouse at the right-hand side. The devotees found a place on the third floor, and there's where Tamal Krishna Goswami installed the first Radha Krishna deity on the European continent.
good.
And they renovated everything. They painted the walls yellow and the floor brown. And they're the first Radha Krishna deities I ever saw in my life.
Very good.
So when I came, I went in there, everything was smoking or smelling of incense, and they had the strawberry
Incense.
incense at that time. Everything smelled of strawberry incense. And I saw the altar, and I said, this is our altar. Oh, what a beautiful flower arrangement. No, well, it's not the flowers. They do go to look and oh, yeah, really. Some very small brass, shining brass deities. And those are the first Radha Krishna deities I ever saw. They were installed by Tamal Krishna Goswami on the order of Srila Prabhupada. Later they were brought, these same deities were brought to Schloss Wettershof, and Hansa-Duta installed their Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan without the order of Srila Prabhupada, without asking Srila Prabhupada. But these small Radha Krishna deities were there. And these Radha Madan Mohan deities, they came from Paris, you know?
I know they were stolen from Paris by Imavati.
Yes. Bhagavan had them in Paris. He had ordered them from India. They were there.
They were really beautiful.
And he showed them to Hansa-Duta when we visited there in 1973. And he said, Bhagavan said he didn't want to install them because there was a little crack in the marble somewhere. And Hansa-Duta said, yeah, then I can take it. Or maybe Himavati said. Anyway, they were taken to Germany and kept in a wooden box until 74. And but Hansa-Duta, he just installed them without asking Srila Prabhupada. So there was a question after that, are they really properly installed? Because it was done only on Hansa-Duta's idea. The standard at that time, even at that time, was when you install deities, the property should belong to you. But this property was rented also, and Prabhupada ordered Tamal Krishna to install them. Anyway, these deities were properly installed, and if there's any question about if Radha Madan Mohan were bona fide at that time, they were there, because they were installed on the order of Srila Prabhupada. Schloss Wettershof, then these same deities were transferred to Simachala, and they were put on an altar in the Simhachalam temple. Radha, if you come into the temple, you would see on the left-hand side, you can still see remnants of it all. That would be Radha Krishna. You would go straight, there was Lord Narasinghadev. So Lord Narasinghadev is tall, 1.50 meters,
Yes.
and Radha Krishna is small. So Srimati Radharani, small little Radharani, told the pujaris, "I'm so afraid of Lord Nishingadev.
Oh.
I don't feel comfortable with Lord Nishingadev." So the pujaris kind of noticed this, and they said, Shri Radha Krishna should have their, Shri Radha Madan Mohan should have their own temple. And they then were transferred to Golokadam Abenteuer. So Radha Madan Mohan, together with the small Radha Krishna deities. Now when...
Die aus Bronze war?
Yeah, the small Radha, the younger deity, together with the larger marble Radha Madan Mohan deities. So when Radha Madan Mohan arrived there, they did do a proper installation ceremony for Sri Radha Madan Mohan. Yes.
So the small one, they are out of marble.
No, they are brass.
Brass.
Brass. They're the same size as our deities that we have at home.
Yes.
So Radha Krishna is always, Nitya Siddha, my wife, she's always getting the Maha dresses of
Very
of the
nice.
deities in Golokadam. Our little deities are wearing the
Yes.
Maha dresses of Shri
That
Radha.
which you like, the
Madame
outfit
Mohan,
of
the little one.
the small frogs.
Yes.
It was awesome. Huh?
Yeah. Ja. Ja, lass mal nee.
Nicht? Schade. Okay, ich dachte.
So sah das nicht aus.
Okay.
Ich weiß nicht, was es ist, aber das war es. But we have pictures, so at least when we did the last parikram, I also took the group here, and there was a big hole in construction. First time I saw this, oh, where's the temple? It's gone. Now they've built some, we maybe should have a look. I'm interested how it looks
Okay.
now. Walk over. Yeah.
Okay, Lars, alles gut.
So at least this is new, and they're still constructing. When you walk up the stairs on the third floor, there was the temple. Yes.
Very good.
Yeah. So and there, that's where Sri Radha Krishna were residing. Now they have apartments there, but they're not completed yet, as you can see.
Very nice.
This is where all the golden things.
Aber es war halt hier im Prinzip.
And this temple, yeah, I mean, mostly, if you look at older temples, most of the devotees are gone. They're not there anymore. Mostly, about 90% are gone. This is the statistic. But of this temple, at least 50% are still there and actively
Wow.
practicing. Sannyasis, gurus, and so on. Yeah.
And you are one of them.
Yes, I'm one of them. Still doing what I can. No? Yeah, fortunately I have my little brother who is kind of pulling me, you know. He's giving me some of his sukriti, you know.
Which building was the temple? Was it in this building or is it one
No,
of
the building has been torn down. Was taken down about 7 years ago. And this is a new construction.
Which one? On the right?
This is all new, as you can see. It's not even finished yet.
The one in the middle? Or?
The temple was up there, on the third floor.
Very nice. Did we take a picture?
Yeah. So, yeah, and this is where everything happened those days. You can see this is Sternschanze. At that time was a place, many Turkish people lived here. at that time, in the 69, 70. And later, all the drug scene was here. So it became like hippie place.
Yeah.
But now it has been upgraded again. Apartments like this, these are good apartments.
Yeah.
So these suburbs go through different stages. At that time, many Turkish people. And the devotees would go regularly downtown. The S-Bahn station is not far from here. And, yeah. And this, I remember going here every Sunday because my little brother, Thorsten or Sachinanda Swami, he's young, 1 year and 10 months younger than me.
Yes.
But when he was 15, he already became interested.
Oh.
And at age 17, he had moved into the temple, and I found he was a little crazy. Yeah, I found it was just getting too eccentric, I thought, you know. So I looked after him every Sunday.
And then you joined.
Yeah, I finished my school. See, he didn't. He dropped out of school in 11th grade. But I still finished my school, Abitur, and even went to the army. And I visited this place regularly. And then I met Srila Prabhupada in Paris in 72 together with Mother Mandakini. Mother Mandakini was there in 1972. She was age 22 and I was 20, and she had already been preaching in Russia, right? Yeah, great.
Hare Krishna.
May I ask you, did Sachinanda Swami also went to the army? Because I asked because I have two brothers.
Yeah.
I went to the army, the second brother of mine went to the army, but the third, he wouldn't have to go.
Yeah.
Because if two brothers were already in the army, the third one was, yeah.
I don't exactly remember, but many times whether he was drafted or had to present himself, I don't really know. You would have to ask him once yourself. But mostly when devotees, they had to go to the draft office, and they would just be chanting Hare Krishna all the time and said, okay,
We don't need you.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is why I ask, because not many people did that. In my age, or yet now, many people say, okay, I want to do civil service.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the army, but in the old times, when my father, or like you maybe, were in the army, not many people did that. I know, not so many as today.
Yeah, right. Mostly, what Prabhupada said, generally one does have to join the army if the democratic government, the government that one has elected in democracy wants you to, but he said, my devotees are Brahmins.
Yes,
so Brahmanas you do not have to.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what Prabhupada said. So some devotees went to the army before they joined, like Veda Vyas, or later Bhakti Gauravani Goswami, myself. But once they were devotees, actually the army never succeeded in drafting them. Just was unsuccessful.
Should we go?
Pamatweti hat das auch gemacht.
Ja.
Da war er, hat er gesagt, noch nicht mal eingeweiht und hat auch den Mahamantra nicht richtig gesungen, meinte er. Aber er hat das gewusst wohl und das gemacht und dann haben sie ihm gesagt, solche Leute wie Sie brauchen wir hier nicht.
Ja. Okay. So, ich weiß nicht, wo unser Freund Jean müsste hier